This video is about the joy that perseverance brings. And it's going to be an unusual video, very short, if you want to stick with me. I read my kids a little children's story the other day, and it just made my whole day. You're probably aware of the famous book called Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten by Robert Fulghum. Well, it's true. Let me read you the kite. It's a 2-minute story. Frog and Toad went out to fly a kite. They went to a large meadow where the wind was strong. "Our kite will fly up and up," said Frog. "It will fly all the way up to the top of the sky." "Toad," said Frog, "I will hold the ball of string and you hold the kite and run." Toad ran across the meadow. He ran as fast as his short legs could carry him. The kite went up in the air. It fell to the ground with a bump. Toad heard laughter. 3 robins were sitting in a bush. "That kite will not fly," said the robins. "You may as well give up." Toad ran back to Frog. "Frog," said Toad, "this kite will not fly. I give up." "We must make a second try," said Frog. "Wave the kite over your head. Perhaps it will make it fly." Toad ran back across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. The kite went up in the air and then fell down with a thud. "What a joke," said the robins. "That kite will never get off the ground." Toad ran back to Frog. "This kite is a joke," he said. "It will never get off the ground." "We have to make a third try," said Frog. "Wave the kite over your head and jump up and down. Perhaps that will make it fly." Toad ran across the meadow again. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. The kite went up in the air and crashed down in the grass. "That kite is junk," said the robins. "Throw it away and go home." Toad ran back to Frog. "This kite is junk," he said. "I think we should throw it away and go home." "Toad," said Frog, "we need one more try. Wave the kite over your head, jump up and down, and shout, 'Up, kite, up!'" Toad ran across the meadow. He waved the kite over his head. He jumped up and down. He shouted, "Up, kite, up!" The kite flew into the air. It climbed higher and higher. "We did it!" cried Toad. "Yes," said Frog. "If a running try did not work, and a running and waving try did not work, and a running, waving, and jumping try did not work, I knew that a running, waving, jumping, and shouting try just had to work." The robins flew out of the bush, but they could not fly as high as the kite. Frog and Toad sat and watched the kite. It seemed to be flying way up at the top of the sky. Isn't that a wonderful story? Why am I sharing that with you today? Because when you try to do something great in life, you try to do something you really believe in, there will always be someone like the robins, the nasty little robins. You know what robin is in Latin? Turdus migratorius. Quite a funny little name, hey? It characterizes the naysayers very well because for some reason human nature has it that people that aren't willing to try are always out to drag the people down that do try. Now that relates exactly to this wonderful instrument that I built, the Cello da Spalla. And there's a wonderful man named Dmitry Badiarov, without whom this instrument probably wouldn't have survived. He revived the instrument. And he's had lots of naysayers around. We all have naysayers around. You know, people ridiculed me and said, "Oh, it's just an 8-size cello." Yeah? Well, it's a pretty nice sounding 8-size cello, and you hold it on your shoulder. That's what da Spalla means. And I myself wasn't too happy with the sound of this for a while, until I persevered and took it apart a few times and got everything exactly just how I like it. And let me just play a couple of phrases from Bach for you on it now. It's hard to tell a story and then pick up a cello and play all at once, but I hope that inspired you. I'm Stephen Collins speaking to you from Sarnia, from my violin making workshop, and I specialize in designing and building concert quality instruments for musicians who are really serious about taking their careers to the next level. So join me again sometime. Nice to have you with me today.